The diagnostic of ONKYO HT-R290 amplifier, and the symptoms is if you push the standby button, it doesn't turn on. You can hear it clicking, but it doesn't do anything other than that. So what I have done, I have removed the top casing and I just had a quick inspection on the circuitry there to see if I could see anything that was burnt, and I couldn't see anything right off the bat, so I'll have to be removing some of the boards to have a look. The ribbon cables are easy to disconnect here, but there are a couple other cables that you have to use. I use some tweezers to put it in the two slots on the other side, push them in, and then you're able to remove them. Next thing I did was I tested the board. This is the encoder board that does all the audio processing. And so usually this could be an issue, or it's the actual amp itself. So I'm just testing the capacitors around the ICs. All the ICs seem to be okay. And I'm looking specifically for a short, because that would be the reason why it's going into power mode. The second thing I did was test the voltages. So when it's plugged in, I'm just measuring some of the voltages, and I got about 12 and then voltage there. I was able to actually get the board to turn on. How I did that was I removed a couple of the fuses. There are two fuses, and at first I didn't know where these go, but these go to your amp. And if I were to remove them, the receiver is able to turn on and display there. So I just took them off, and it worked. Other solution was just to remove this little ribbon cable with that plugged in, and you can see here that when I put on the power button, it does turn on. It just gives you a warning that says check the speaker wire. So we know that there is some sort of short somewhere. I have it all connected. It turns on. All the buttons are working, so we know that the processor is working fine. I put some audio into the TV audio port, turned up the volume, but still there's not going to be any sound because we have disconnected that ribbon cable, so it's not going to activate the audio. So there's this is not going to fix the issue. There's going to be a issue on one of the boards. It's either the processing board or it's other issue with the amp itself there. They have a couple of chips there. So to remove the bottom board is actually very difficult, because you can see that there's this ribbon cable right here. And the ribbon cable is actually soldered right onto the PCB. And so it would take desoldering that, checking all the components, and then getting a replacement part. So the repair is more in depth. It's not a quick fix for sure. And immediately when I reconnect this cable, it detects the short, and you can hear the relays turning off. So it goes into shutdown mode, protection mode. So we know that the further issue is probably to do with the bottom circuitry, but that's a little bit harder to get at. Now I did get an idea. I can actually test. I'm forcing the standby button to go on, and I keep on clicking it on and off, and I'm just seeing if anything's heating up. And when I'm doing that, it's just going on, detecting the short and turning off, and I'm looking for any smoke. And when I did that, I saw that there was some smoke coming from the board. So then hopefully I could find out what the issue was. And I found that there are these two resistors.
Forced to go.
And the two resistors were actually heating up. So here I am just poking around just to see what resistors or what have you here. So here are the two resistors here. I could really feel them. They were getting really warm. And So I'm going to use my heat scope here. I'm just testing out the temperature, and they are getting really warm, over 30 degrees, and the other one was even getting up to 100 degrees. So I got 134 degrees there. So there seems to be a short on that issue, that resistor. But when I checked the voltages, these are 0.2 ohms. I was reading the right ohms. It wasn't a short. So this could be in parallel with the amp itself. There's a little amp IC at the back there, that black one. And so that could be making an internal short there, and that's why this one's heating up, or some other reason there. So the resistor that this one is, it's you can see it's 0.22 ohm, and it's R6162 resistor. I was able to find the schematic online, and the fuse, if I remove that fuse, it does stop the electricity to go into the amp, to the amp IC there. So my guess is it's an issue with the IC, with the amp IC. This IC is about $20 a piece. You probably have to replace both of those from China. It would take over a month for the parts to get here, and then take out all the parts. So it's quite in-depth repair, because there's quite a few internal connections. Yet you can see with the fuse, and then this goes to the amp, PWB, I guess to the power end. So here's the IC. It's a STK443530. So that's as far as I have so far. If anyone knows some more details, please put some more comments.